Welcome to Royan in France for the World Championships of Beach Ultimate. Tom Stiles and Gigi Morrison with you for this USA versus Canada Women's Master Final. It's the business end of the week as these teams try to battle out for that gold medal position. Gigi, we've got a end-to-end all-star roster on both of these teams, but you've picked out a couple of players you want to watch out for especially.
Yeah, we've seen some incredible action over the week so far and some incredible stats as well. We've got some of the big names from the USA, Melissa Gibbs, Emily Smith-Wilson and Robin Wiseman, all collecting close to 40 stats, both goals and assists. For example, Robin Wiseman gaining 33 assists over the game so far, and even from the Canadian side, we've seen quite an even spread, but in particular, Jen LaRue, Melissa Lundgren, and Carolyn Churchland collecting very similar amounts of stats. We want to see all of these really strong athletes just building on what they've already gained so far. These teams have come across each other already over the week and across the season, so it could be a very exciting game.
Well, the action builds as the two teams slap hands with each other and prepare down here on the sand. We'll be back with the pull and all the action in this gold medal match, USA versus Canada in the Women's Masters Division.
Catch it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
The wind blowing up the dust here from the beach in Royan. The sun shining on the back. The team in black. In the center of the picture you see a 55 shirt of Melissa Lundgren. Expect to see her on the disc an awful lot. Not playing on any other surface other than the sand due to knee injuries. You see her braced up quite heavily there, but a devastating player, an enormous amount of experience. This Women's Masters final between USA and Canada is going to be a big game for both teams. The previous meetup was an 11-7 win for the USA, but we were chatting with Becky Ledonne and Angela Lynn before it, and they were remarking how difficult it can be to continue to beat a team. Every time the team that has been defeated goes away from the game, they review how they lost, they try and improve, they try and work on different things. So they're coming into this game cautious, optimistic, but cautious. Gigi, it's a perfect setting for a game of Ultimate.
Yeah, the wind is certainly going to play a factor in this game. It's already caused some trouble for the other teams, collecting a fair amount of turnovers. Some of the discs just catching under the wind and soaring out of bounds. But I'm sure that both of these sides, who have heavy amounts of experience and incredible throwing proficiency, they will probably fare a lot better than some of the other athletes that we've seen today.
It's certainly something that improves with age, the ability to hold the disc steady into the wind. If you haven't spotted the flags on the far side of the field, let me tell you, the wind is a very clear from right to left as our cameras look at it. As we wait for this game to get going, you can just see the dust down the beach there. A cloud of very fine dust. Robin Wiseman, the assist leader for the USA in the 44 shirt. So their puller at the start of this game. The clock's rolling. Wiseman signals. Let's see if we can get a gauge of how strong this wind is from this first pull. Into the wind. Wiseman for the USA, getting the gold medal match in the Women's Master Division underway. Good pull from Wiseman. Straight away that forward pass to Lundgren. Downfield, bobbles off the top of the hand, can't reel it in. Kate Jardine not able to collect. Wiseman on the disc again. Short, fast pass across to Gibbs. Gibbs' disc goes into the dirt. Laroche can't keep it up. Lundgren has it once more. Lundgren over the top. Tasty disc. Nene floats one in. Not able to reel up that ground. Melissa Lundgren watches it fall to the dirt.
Some early game jitters on both sides, and it's quite unfortunate. This wind can be really tricky and intimidating, because sometimes you think you've got the disc coming safely into your chest and it'll suddenly sink or rise, and it panics you.
Yes, even the most experienced player can only make adjustments for the wind. Real smart switching there from Lundgren. And a turnover. Canada with a chance to make an early break. Oh, sorry, it's not a break, it's a hold, but a bit of a messy hold for them. And it was Carolyn Churchland with the score in the end, adding to her impressive tally, the 31-year-old with 31 goals.
Very simple mistake for the USA. The Canadian player just intercepting, getting in the way.
And we see that bobbling disc rising. Another error from the receivers. It's that float downwind, so difficult to get that to hold into the right place. Lundgren perhaps baiting a little bit. Eventually scores through Churchland. They'll be relieved to get away with that first hold. Going downwind, a USA break into the wind is not the way they would have wanted to start this game. The tall figure of Wooten kicks us off. Kingery. Kiso waits. Sends a big disc downfield, chasing it, but beyond her. Sarah Ito of DC Scandal not able to make up the ground. Again, we see the wind causing havoc in the range finding of our deep shots.
Yeah, I've been chatting with some of the volunteers who are working around the commentator tent here, and how actually having to play downwind is often trickier than playing upwind. At least upwind you can kind of read the wind sometimes a bit easier, and having to put that extra element of touch downwind is tricky and difficult to master.
Pressure from the USA. The 9 shirt of Kiso causing hassle. Good short passes from Canada. Nice sand cut. Don't need to be running the full length of the pitch on sand. Short adjustments is what's required. Keeps the disc up there. The 72 shirt of Bourget floats high. Little errors are going to creep in as Wooten picks up to start this USA attack. Going to ground, impressive stuff from Kiso. He's been involved in this point as it extends Wooten again. Ito. Pick called. The fans in the stands opposite enjoying the breeze. The scene of this final game, the Women's Masters division, is set, but it's the breeze that's keeping the fans cool. Is doing anything but for these players. This point is going to go on 5.5 minutes and only 1 point scored. I think this might be quite a low scoring game, Gigi.
Potentially. And that's not just because of the wind. It's credit to the defensive pressure from both of these women's teams, because we know that both sides are incredibly intense on defense. You know it's going to be aggressive. You know you're going to have to work hard for every single cut. And just with the added pressure of the wind, kind of makes it difficult to move further up the pitch.
And it's a turnover. USA. Wooten finds the gap, slots it in. USA with their own hold downwind. Both teams lots of turns. We're chatting with Becky Ladonne before the game and asking whether they had any particular worries about playing against this Canadian side. I think it's very obvious from their stats that they have a couple of key players that they send a lot of the discs through, and some very impressive deep game. They said they were going to try and match up smart and try and take away the strengths that the Canadian team bring. But it's fair to say they were cautious about giving us more information than that. Cards close to the chest from these wily campaigners. Melissa Lundgren, the 55 shirt, showing all her experience. A veteran of the Canadian women's team in Lignano Sabbiadoro. Pressure from the USA. Outstretched hand of the 22 shirt of Brittany Winner, the Steamboat player from Ohio. Huge bid. And a chance now. That's going to be a good matchup to watch. Brittany Winner and Churchland, if they mark up against each other again. Robin Wiseman. Middle of the pitch and spreading the play nicely across to Deriani. Winner again. Nice movement, Wilson. Right in the red zone now. Wilson looking at options, taking their time. They know this is a big opportunity for them. Chance to break, chance to score upwind. Wilson again. Into the end zone, just coming down into the hands of Becky Ladonne. Catches that one. Huge point for the USA into the wind.
I think the disc went into the hands of every single member of the USA team for that point. Ooh. Sorry, Brittany Winner there with the layout D. She is certainly a winner indeed. She worked so hard to put her body on the line and helped to get that score in for the USA.
Well, we saw the hand go up from Becky Ladonne. I don't think, well, as the disc drifted towards the end zone, I thought it was going to rise above her, but this wind is pushing the disc down and up, and perfectly grabbed out of the sky. Ladonne will be glad to see that one landed.
Ladonne was mentioning at the start of this game that having played Canada before in the pool games and also previously at some of their warm-up tournaments, they've beaten Canada in all of the times they've come across them, but it's often difficult to beat them 2, 3, 4 times. Because the teams adjust. They know your different tactics. They know your big playmakers. So they kind of have to adjust themselves.
Lundgren with the big shot up into the wind. Little bit of contact between the two players. Courtney Kiso, but no complaint from the Canadians. Threading the needle, great advancing shot there. USA confident on the disc. Lundgren marking. Comes across to Lynn. Nice disc forward to Kiso. Picks herself up off the sand. Down the line available, no, marked out by the Canadians. Big swing across. Kingery knocking on the door with that nice advancing backhand. Lambert with the reset. Into the end zone, front of the end zone, bang into the floor. Canada aware. The 42 shirt of Kate Jardine spotting the threat. Seeing the fingertip knock and getting it for the turn.
She tried to sneak that disc into the end zone with a really well executed high release flick, but just slipping out the hands of Lynn and straight into the hands of the Canadian player, smacking it down into the sand again.
See all the discs starting in the hands of Lundgren. Her stats are the way they are for a reason. She breaks to this side now. Pick has been called. Jen Leroux, the 28 shirt, stats leader for the Canadian women's team. Jardine. Milling around a little bit. Pick called. It's a long point. It's hot out there. Sand saps the energy. You can see from the body language of both teams, it's exhausting work running around on the sand. Sometimes this is the most difficult play to make. Having been scored on upwind as a turnover goes to the USA, having been scored on and broken upwind, trying to hold your own upwind point, such pressure. You know that the USA, as soon as they get the turn, what's that push pass? Downwind floated beautifully. Great work from Angela Lin. Not the textbook shot, and that deep shot is going to go well out of the back of the end zone. Overcooked.
You see the amount of confidence from all of these ladies here. We've seen already a high release flick, which was unfortunately unsuccessful, and Lynn's push pass there. That's a lot of trust and confidence in both the throwers and the receivers from the USA.
Lundgren, who played in Lignano Sabbiadoro in the last, or not the last one, that was in Dubai, the one before that, in 2011, out in Italy. She played in Lecco as well, and then quit ultimate on all surfaces apart from beach. But her flick there goes to the sand. They're asking a lot of that key handler into this wind. See the shirts rustling, the flags waving on the far side of the field. Quick shot downfield. Kingery into the end zone, chasing down hard, but Sally Lambert can't eat up the ground. The Molly Brown player watches as that disc dives into the sand. Hard work out there. I wonder how much longer it's going to be before one of these teams calls a timeout when they next have the disc. 13 minutes gone, only 3 points scored. It's not going to be a big runaway from either team at the moment. Needing to start getting the connections going upwind. Lundgren across to LaRue. Now making progress with Jardine. Back to LaRue. Lundgren again. Floats into space. Big bid from LaRue, but the pressure from her counterpart. 228 shirts up against each other. Sally Lambert getting the block for the USA. Angela Lin sends a big disc straight away, but Lundgren sees to that, taking care of business on defense, and straight away putting the disc down. And Jen LaRue eats that one up. Did she drag her toes inside the field?
It's quite difficult to call from that currently.
Well, the crowd are calling it.
I would say that she was in. She caught the disc and gained control of it while most of her body was within the pitch.
We'll see the replay here. Yeah, knee was down as she had control. The big screen behind us, and the crowd are reacting to that. Yeah, it's nice to have those instant replays for the crowd to watch, and they'll tell the players whether it was in or not. That certainly was. LaRue to Lundgren. This to Nene. Now moving it forward. Lundgren again. Big shot, arcing through the sky. There's going to be pressure underneath this. LaRue bids. Too far ahead of her. Kingery sees to that one. And LaRue has been flat on her stomach on the sand 3 times in this point already. Looking exhausted out there. The wind's swirling around. Is it coming to? It's coming towards us now. Well, myself and Gigi did a lap of the field earlier, talking to the teams. The wind was blowing from the town out to sea. Now it's blowing the other way from the sea back into town. And LaRue, because of those repeated layouts, has gone off the field either winded or injured. Gigi?
Most likely winded. Although it's a little bit more comfortable laying out and getting horizontal on the sand, it's still very hard underneath. The top layer of sand is soft and really quite easy to run onto, but underneath it's really firm.
Nice movement from the USA. Center of the pitch. Kingery. Sends it. Oh, that's a beautiful disc from Kingery. Straight into the hands of Melissa Gibbs from the Madison Heist player, scoring for the USA. Kingery with a lightning arm.
Kingery showing her incredible throwing experience for the USA side. And that was a very long and tiring point. I think she wanted that throw for quite a while. And there it is again. Perfection on form there.
And we've not seen that level of execution from either side here. That's a beautiful roll, great position. Could see that the separation from Michelle Chandler had been achieved.
I could hear, we've got some of the other commentators around us, and I could hear Evan Lepler just behind us saying we don't need game advisors, we just need a big crowd for every game.
Yeah, big crowd, big screen. The crowd will watch the big screen replay, and then they will boo or cheer. Sort of, you know, Roman amphitheatre style, kind of thumbs up, thumbs down from Caesar. You could be Caesar, Evan. That would work well, I think. The Women's Masters division coming to a climax. The USA in the ascendancy, despite a bit of a scrappy start from both teams, struggling against this wind. And the World Championships of Beach Ultimate in their final 2 days. Disc downfield from the Canadians. Sansuk, but it's a turn. Disc into the dirt. Wooten, forward, Wiseman. Quick start from Wiseman, she gets the disc back. Quickly from LaRoche, into the front of the end zone. Manisha Deriani scoring. A 77 shirt for the USA. Big upwind break again for the US.
Deriani has played quite a pivotal role, not only for this USA team, but quite a lot of the USA Ultimate side.
And she was also awarded Coach of the Year last week, we believe, for her work with UC Berkeley, a team known as the Pie Queens. Has played with Fury and Mischief. Becky Ladonne, part of the Women's Masters side that competed in London at WUGC. She raises her hand, spins the body, releases the disc high, rolling. It's a great pull from Ladonne, deep in their own end zone. Forward, the Canadians, quick start. They're going to need that, but huge bid from the USA. Brittany Winner trying to get the block. Canada still have it. Canadians not sure which play that was intended to, but it was safely into the hands of Chandler. Stuck on the sideline. Nice swing to Jardine. Low disc. Safely picked off the floor by Laverna. Benvenuto. And Nene. Into the end zone. Block from the US. An outstretched two shirt. Not the two shirt. There isn't a two shirt. Lynn now. There's Gibbs with the block. Ladonne calling the timeout. US with another turnover. Chance to capitalize on their upwind score with another downwind break.
The US zone that came out there was incredibly aggressive. Looking quite similar to an arrowhead, just poaching off the handler marks are looking to break through and make some sort of bid into it.
The action continues out here on the beach. And right now we're in a timeout. USA up 4-1. The Mike Palmer remix of the commercial break there. Back in this women's Masters final, the gold medal on the line. The wind causing havoc. Although just looking at the flags across the other side of the pitch, it might have dropped off from what it was at the start of this game. Becky Ladonne. Crossfield pass. Caught by Gibbs. Downfield. Canadian going toe-to-toe. Huge grab in the end zone from Kate Wilson. The San Francisco Fury player brings that in.
And this is where the USA are starting to pull away. They know how to capitalize on any mistakes that Canada have made. And unfortunately, when Canada just got to their end zone line, they rushed the throw. It led to an unfortunate drop. And the USA just connecting on so many more levels.
The disc from Winner is a winner. Repeat of that previous shot, the rolling sidearm, maybe using the grandstand as a little bit of shelter. The overcooked long shots that we saw at the start of the game have gone. The tidy, clinical deep shots have arrived, and USA using that to dominate this Canadian side. 5-1 they lead. It's not been a fast scoring game because of the number of turnovers. Statistician Kate sitting next to me. We had 4 turnovers in both of the first 2 points. And fairly clean one for point 3, just 1 turnover. And then 9 turnovers before the USA eventually scored to make it 3-1. Lundgren. Oh, a throwing error from Lundgren into the hands of Kingery. Now dumps back to Haley Reese. Smith-Wilson with the disc now to Wiseman. Dropping the shoulders, changing direction in the end zone. Wiseman looking for options. Still count gets high. She makes a handler cut herself. Good marking from Canada, taking that option away. Now going to swing. Continues that swing. High disc, but it's well caught by Wiseman. The reset's available. Reese again. Wiseman again. Just enough pressure from the outstretched hand of Churchland.
We were watching some of the safest hands in ultimate from the USA Women's Masters team. You watch the disc just float into their hands and they take it with ease. This is something that they've practiced for many years.
Churchland and Wiseman clashing. Foul called. Churchland taking a break from the field. That injury. Churchland quite a slight play. We were chatting to her before the game. So we were taking some shade as the Canadian Masters women warmed up. That collision with Wiseman. It's forced her off the field. Jardine to Lundgren. Lundgren sends it. Big grab in the end zone. Canada connect. Jen LaRue adding to her impressive stats tally from this game so far.
Yeah, LaRue being the leader of the Canadian stats board. And really, it's She's an absolutely incredible player. She's so tall, and she can extend herself so far, and that's probably why she can contribute to that, to the amount of stats that she's getting. But you also look at the number of stats that the rest of the Canadian players have gotten. You have 3 of the top leaders in the 30s and the 40s, but then you look at the rest of the board and it's all fairly even. They're all around about the same number, collecting huge amounts of stats compared to even some of the rest of the divisions. And that's just credit to how much the disc flows through every single player, how balanced it is. And that's not just to say that's for the Canadian side, that's also the same for the USA team.
There's a lot of games to be played out here in the Women's Masters Division. 12 teams in it, playing each other. USA now coming back downwind for an offense. That's a nice break around. Steps forward, low release. Quick movement from the USA, cutting down the line now. Wooten not taken. 3 yards out. Wooten with it again. Floats it forward into the end zone. Genevieve LaRoche, the Fury player, takes the point. USA really working nicely now.
So far, our first clean offensive point. The USA only working downwind and using some of the short play, rather not opting for long shots, and that was probably a wise decision because Canada know that the USA can take them deep at times.
Yeah, that movement from Jen LaRoche, really nice. Looked like she was going to run to the break side, cut back to the open side, receiving the disc from Wooten. She actually played for Canada women in London. Actually, I know she played for Canada women. I don't know which tournament it was at. They did tell me, and I didn't write it down. Apologies. She's also a Fury player. So if you know the answer to that question, which Canada women's team did Jen LaRoche play, you can tap me on the shoulder if you're Evan Lepler, or you can tweet me at Tom Styles. Evan's shaking his head. The massive ultimate encyclopedia that is Evan Lepler's brain has not brought up that data. On the other side of the pitch, Jen LaRue in the 28 shirt. She's got her family watching. Stacey Samas, her twin sister, and the whole family up early to watch this game. She'd ask us to say hi to you all, and wherever you're watching in the world, do hope you're enjoying the coverage that the World Flying Disc Federation are bringing to you here. The World Championships of Beach Ultimate. Beautiful pull, floated nicely on the wind, giving time for the Canadians to get up there and set their D. But straight away a deep shot, good separation downfield. What an incredible grab from Emily Smith-Wilson. Little fake, dumps it back. Good presence of mind, float over the top to the high, grabbing Courtney Kiso for a great point. But what a grab from Emily Smith-Wilson.
Such an impressive play from this USA player. She got a face full of sand there, but that one must have been worth it. She got lots of glory there. The shot from Kiso, an incredible read, like regardless of whether she had to bid for that or not. That's a difficult disc to read.
Nice work from our camera people as well. Tracing that one in was very nice. And Kiso providing the hockey assist, but also getting the point herself. USA walking away with this one after half an hour. They take the half. There's no stoppages for half here on the beach. They just keep playing, but they do swap over if indeed they're not in the right end. So Canada will start from the downwind end of the field. Oh, sorry, USA are starting from the downwind end of the field on defense. Lundgren. Nene. Chandler. Across to Lundgren again. Hammer from Lundgren. It's too far ahead. Jardine turns in dismay. Not the shot she was looking for. Lundgren not connecting, and she might like to under the pressure of this gold medal match. Nice homeboy work between the two USA women. Brittany Winner. Forward, the wind whistling around as Wilson catches that. Cross to the far side of the end zone. Winner continues her cut and scores upwind. A huge break for the USA. They're massacring the Canadians at the moment. 8-2, complete dominance.
I was convinced that was a throwaway. Unfortunately, we had a camera in the way of Winner in the end zone, and I regret doubting the USA team for a split second. Because they again just show how intelligent all of these ladies are.
Lefty from Wilson as well. The backhand right across the end zone. Spins the disc, saw the space. Clear separation away from Nene. The Canadian defender has to sit and watch as her receiver, Brittany Winner, collects another important upwind break. And when it comes down to it, when all the other games have been played, and when there's only two teams remaining, the difference between the USA and Canada is clear. USA driving home to victory on the beaches of France.
A lot of the French supporters actually looking to support Canada over the USA here, probably with some of the French-Canadian influence.
Back of their end zone, low disc straight away. Bourgeois. Leroux. Benvenuti. Slices that disc forward, and it's well caught by Nichols. Across to the far side, Bourgeois again. Floats into the wind. No mistake from Ledonne. You're going to put that in my area, I'm going to bring it down. Swings across. Kingery. There's a call on the field.
Yeah, that was called quite a while ago. I saw Leroux on the sand. I'm not sure whether it actually affected any sort of play, but they're discussing this.
Did she clash with Reese?
I only saw her on the sand, but the disc was further back.
So we're going to see it go back. At least one pass, we'd expect. Unless they decide that it hasn't affected play. Trying to get in there and get the conversation with our roving microphone. So our volunteers running on with the microphone to try and get some of the audio of that discussion. Kingery is the player with the disc. And it looks like they're still deciding whether the foul occurred when it was back on the sideline with Ledonne.
I think they're discussing the fact that the foul occurred quite a bit before Ledonne had the disc. But because play was stopped, they're just sending the disc back to one of the initial receivers. Actually, no, it's going back to Canada.
Oh, so the foul call was before the turnover. Frustration from the USA. Ledonne having worked to get that block, but a foul previous in the point brings the disc back. All reached, that communication and decision reached very amicably between the two players. Bourgeois floats it forward, tries to knock it down into the Canadian hands, but it's a turnover nevertheless. The USA start again. Big floaty disc, that's beautiful. Downwind, enough time for Kiso to get underneath it. Ledone. Kiso again. Ledone darting around, she's available for the reset. Fakes. Nothing downfield. You're going to have to go for a dump pass. Ito. Laser disc from Ito down to Kiso. Kiso back to Ledone. Block from Canada, but it's picked up and received. Kingery into the end zone, but it's too far.
We've got just under 10 minutes until the soft cap is going to go off. And hopefully Canada can rake in a few more points to at least close the gap and put some pressure on the US before the soft cap is put on.
It's going to require a complete change in the game for Canadians to get back into this. They've been shut out in almost every area. The wind has not helped them. The USA have scored in that upwind end zone without too much difficulty. The Canadians have struggled. Benvenuto with the disc. Straight away a turnover. USA have it. Ito gets the disc back again. Ledone who cuts into the end zone. Darting around deep. Canadian defense a little bit static and flat. Kiso. And for the reset to Ledone. Patience from the USA. Just as I say that, Ledone runs out of patience. Too much wrist, too much height. And she's apologizes. Now, the previous meetup of these two teams was an 11-7 win for the USA. In hotter conditions earlier in the week, it was an absolutely stifling 32 degrees. And that was in the shade, in the sunshine. It was very much hotter. Benvenuto. Block straight into the floor by Haley Reese, the Ozone captain. Ledone throws the big fake. Nice heads-up D from Jennifer Nichols. Gets the block for Canada. Saw that disc a little bit too close to it.
I would love to see the stats behind all the Ds from every single game, just to see which players are actually the biggest playmakers on defense, how many blocks, how many skies. Just that's something we don't tend to record because it's difficult to calculate.
Yes, in the heat of a game, sometimes you're having 3 or 4 turnovers in succession. It's often very hard to calculate it and record it. Big disc out from Canada now upwind. They've got one. And into the dirt goes Laura Main, one of the captains of this Canadian women's Masters side. They take one against the USA into the wind.
That O-line for Canada is probably elated at finally getting another score in. There were so many turnovers on that point. And trying to maintain your composure, going not only upwind, but against the US, against 4, 5, 6 successive turnovers is tricky. But LaRue making a very wise decision at just sending it to their end zone. And thankfully having a receiver on the other end.
Yeah, it was 6 turnovers in that last point. Kate Yeski doing our stats. But both teams, their mean turnovers per point, the Canadian D-line, 2 turnovers per point is their average. And the USA O-line and D-line both have an average turnovers per point of 1. So by no means has this been a clean game. Both teams making mistakes, but so far it's the USA that are making less. And the wind has been a factor as well. Wiseman receives the disc back. Block from Jardine. Jardine gets the hand down low. Quick start to Nene. Back to Jardine, back to Nene. Lundgren. Oh, that's tricky, but it's tasty. They capitalize on their upwind score with a downwind follow-up. Nene with the grab. Lundgren with the lefty scuba into the end zone.
Lundgren signaling for the Canadian cutter to just move up the line. She's maybe trying to make some space, but then just saw the vision of the scuba and wanted it. She baited it so much. And thankfully it came off successfully.
We see that turnover again. Wiseman with the pass to Lynn. Pass back to Wiseman, and this is where the turnover comes. Kate Jardine spotting the opportunity to go to the sand and get the block for her team. Beautiful scuba. It was with the right hand, not the left, from Lundgren. Opening up the toolbox, reaching deep inside. Downwind scuba. You've got to be practicing those, kids. And you might be in a gold medal match eventually. Canada coming out with a zone. Big 4-woman cup. Disc is downfield. Oh, this is incredible stuff from Canada. They've changed up the D. USA didn't react well. And they've got another turnover. They trail by 4 points. But if they can score this, the momentum will have shifted significantly. They're running out of time though. 43 minutes on the clock. As Gigi was saying, the cap is going to come on momentarily. When it gets to 45 minutes, at the end of that point, we add 1 to the top score, and that's the target. Nichols for Canada. Looks up the line, but her disc is too hot for the outreaching Michelle Chandler. Goes to ground. Wooten sends it into the end zone, but there was no American players there.
Canada now beginning to get into the heads of the American ladies. That zone is very difficult to break through, and Canada have done so well. But they're also probably riding on a little bit more of an adrenaline high after getting a D, now 2 turnovers on a previously fairly clean USA line. And that might also cause them to turn over, as we see now.
Our commentators curse, Gigi.
Sorry.
It's going to happen to you. Always going to happen. USA with another opportunity, a little bit more clinical this time. It needs to be Wooten. Just as we're saying that, again, USA, who've looked so strong in comparison with the Canadians so far, a bucket full of mistakes and personal handling errors in this point. But their defense is still so hot. Positioning from some of the Canadian players questionable there, taking away that upfield option and dabbing to the ground. USA, tired legs. They've gone back to a match-up defense, and again Wooten just jacking it deep. Full wrist, full body, ping down the wind, lands in the middle of the opposition end zone. And frustration from the USA. They are playing Huck and D at the moment. It's not pretty.
One of the volunteers has just given the signal that time cap is gone. So this will either be a game to 9 or game to 10, depending on which side will score.
The Canadians having to dig deep here. Bourgeois with the disc. One of the players from Quebec. She has it once more. Safely into the hands of Chandler. Is it a pick call? Pick call. I see the shirts and shorts of these players flapping in the breeze. Big shot deep. Perfect positioning, 3 times of asking, didn't get there. So close. It was a high stall count, big release, and a foul has been called on the throw. The disc didn't come out flat.
So there's a variety of hand signals being moved around here. I'm seeing some foul hand signals, some stall out hand signals.
Let's have a look at that reception again. Came down, was bobbling. Huge layout block over the top. It's contested. That's one of the things we have noticed. The players from different nations have got different levels of adoption of these Woof-Duff hand signals. It really is helpful to everybody in the stands, the players on the pitch, and particularly us in the commentary booth, to know what's going on field. Chandler. And it's a turnover to the USA. Again, Wooten winds up the arm. And again, it's out of the back. This time is a little bit closer than previously. Sarah Ito chasing that one down. I'm going to ask Kate, our statistician, to keep a separate stat on how many times Wooten overcooks a deep shot.
Harsh.
Perhaps it is, yeah. Well, it's 3 at least in this point. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying what I see. Floaty into the wind. There's going to be a discussion here. Laverna and Wooten clashing.
There was certainly some contact, and it looks uncontested. Again, useful hand signals.
Yeah, the hands out to the side, open palms is the uncontested signal, which Wooten was using there to signify she had no problem with the foul call. He was looking at the disc, not the player. USA trying to take away the options as this Canadian team battle upwind, trying to get a third break, and a pick is called. The end of this game. If this Canadian point goes in, that will be huge, bringing them back within 3, and with a downwind point to follow. But if the USA score it, it's all but over. Handling errors, not able to connect with that disc too fast. Into the end zone. No mistake this time from the USA. Perfectly weighted deep shot. And tired legs leave the field from both teams. Relief on the white shirt faces as they finally get that point. It's going to be a game to 10 here in the gold medal match in the women's Masters division.
Yeah, that point seems to take an absolute age. So much pressure from both sides on defense. It was mostly not execution errors. There were a couple of long shots that just soared out of the reach of the players, or even just throws to nobody. But we did also have a lot of Ds there. Like the US putting extra pressure, just getting a fingertip out of the reach of the extra Canadian player.
And this is the final point. Kingery, high, floaty, difficult execution. That shot downwind, enough to hold it out in front of Emily Smith-Wilson. She played for Godiva in Lecco. Lundgren back on the field of that long point. He receives the disc back again. Downfield shot, big bid from the USA, chasing in on that. Grabs cleanly. Such defensive pressure from this American team. Wiseman now. Wiseman continues her cut. Cross field, it's a great handler cut into the end zone for the win. No, just too short. Despite the diving efforts of Melissa Gibbs, Canada have another chance downfield and an injury.
That was fantastic defense from the US. LaRue is such a difficult player to mark. As I've mentioned already, she's so tall. She puts her body on the line for everything, and she's aggressive. And to get the equal amount of aggression from the US will cause some 50-50 shots to just go into a turnover.
So it's Gibbs with the grab and almost with the game-winning point at the end of the pitch. Instead, 6 inches is the difference between a nasty blow to the chest and a game-winning heroic moment. Downfield, the disc is turned over. USA with a chance to win it again. Ladonne. A foul called by Ladonne, uncontested by LaRue. Becky Ladonne fakes. Reset swing pass. Back to Ladonne, who goes low to the knees to get that one, and a foul call. USA inches away from the gold medal here. Canada fighting to the end.
There's quite a lot of discussion on this foul. It's coming in on 0 as they're showing there.
LaRue taps. Ladonne into the end zone. Huge bid. 3 players collide, and who comes up with it but Brittany Winner? And straight away showing concern for her opponents. Nene down on the floor. Is that the game winner?
It's quite nice to see, actually, that while this may be the game winner, her biggest concern is her opponent. There was a massive clashing between the 3 of them there.
Lundgren lays one way, Nene lays the other way, right across the top of them. The 3 players colliding. Brittany Winner is the one that comes up with the disc. All calls have been settled, and indeed has the result of this game. Gold to the USA, silver to Canada. US have put in an impressive performance despite the wind. Their defense has been too much for this Canadian team.
Canada really, whilst trying to put on as much pressure as they could, they only had a few glimpses of how much they can drive into the US. They were, for 2 or 3 points, in the heads of the US, beginning to dampen their mental game. But as we know, by how much the US can just steal tournaments, they can get medal after medal after medal. You have to give them credit for how much they deserve this game. All of these athletes are absolutely incredible. We see some incredible plays from Lynn. Some of her throws have been absolutely gorgeous. And lots of defensive pressure from other players like Emily Smith-Wilson. Beautiful layout Ds. And Brittany Winner, who certainly today has shown that she is a winner.
Now the USA doing all the hard work in the middle spell of the game. Scoring 8 points out of a run of 9, 6 of those by way of a break. Canada with only 1 break of their own. But it was the upwind points that won it for the USA. Big bids from both sides. Ladonne in the corner. Pressure on defense. LaRue grabbing. And those beautiful sidearms slicing through the sky, and the big take from Emily Smith-Wilson. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage we've brought you here from the Women's Masters Division. The USA gold medals from the beaches of Royan. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Tom Stiles, and with me has been Gigi Morrison. We hope you have enjoyed the coverage, and stay tuned for the last of today's finals with Evan Lepler and Liam Grant. It's going to be the men's Masters final coming up right next.